Honestly, astrology people or just people that believe in like star signs and shit, like y'all need help. This whole thing of blaming everything on your star sign, I find to be utterly pointless. The idea that you have no control over it, blah blah blah, Mercury was in retrograde, that's why I'm feeling moody and shit. Like, I never understand that shit. And worse still, there's those ones that hop on the internet and feed us that bullshit. So normally my question at that time is, honestly, like, I've never understood this whole obsession with star signs and using it to explain your life. Because, I don't know, to some level, it's like they want to surrender to the fact that, or at least to the belief that they have no control over their lives, that like everything is decided by star signs. And I don't get it. Like, this whole thing of a shorty comes is like, I have a problem with Leo men, they're all trash. All these Capricorn men are good love makers, but it's the Virgos that are very good at intimacy, blah blah blah. Like, I never understood that shit. Like, honestly, why are you trusting some hot glowing pieces of the universe which died 8 years ago? Because that's exactly what happened. Like, the stars that you're looking at right now pretty much died 8 years ago. So I've never really understood it. It just escapes me. Yes, there's a lot about star signs and what they prove about someone, but I honestly find them utterly pointless, mostly because a bunch of people use it to explain how shitty they can be as human beings. So I'm sorry, Karen, you're just a shitty human being. It's not that something is in retrograde. Anyways, we have a podcast to do, so we might as well start this shit. Welcome to Break Time on Westside, your number one break time podcast, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. The man on the mic is a man who does not believe in star signs. Them things is dead. He is a man that does not mind having his pizza with pineapples on it. It is none other than I, your man, your host, Sir Denver B. The show is Tweetstreet, the show where we take a deep dive into Twitter, we pull up a couple of tweets, and we break them down a little bit. As usual, no tweet is safe, every tweet is acceptable. So if there's a tweet you want us to discuss, you know what to do. Take that screenshot, send it to the DMs on Instagram at Breaktime on Westside is the handle. And also, if you feel like that's too much work, you can always just copy the link and then send it to at Breaktime on Westside. Hell, you can even try and send it to my Twitter handle on my DMs because they're not locked. They're open for everyone. And it is at Bagaka the D. The B and the D are capital as usual because the real things have to be big. Nah, I'm saying. Now, before I get into the first tweet of this episode, I have to admit one thing. People in relationships have a lot of guts. Like, y'all just have your way when it comes to hitting on other people. Yes, it's cheating, it's infidelity and all that BS. And I spoke about how we need to make relationships better. I know, I spoke about that this week, but I have to just say it like it is. Y'all have guts. Like, some of the shit that y'all pull isn't even nice. How the hell is it that you're going to hit on a shorty? Your wallpaper is of your wife and your kid, and you're saying that that's your sister and her kid. Like, some of the shit that y'all pull isn't even supposed to be on the fucking book. Like, I've always found it a bit hard, at least on a personal level, to lie to get the pussy. Like, I just don't know how to do it. Like, I'd rather tell you the truth and not get it than lie to you and get it. Because for some reason, when I get done with it, or if I'm to get done with it, I just have this feeling that I will feel like shit because it's like I needed a lie to get the pussy. Like, I've never really understood it. If you're a shorty and you do the same to get the dick, then you probably also understand the reference. But I don't know, like, I just find it very, very odd. But anyways, to each their own. If you're in a relationship with someone who claims that the wallpaper is of their sister and her kid, then probably investigate them. That being said, I should probably get on to the tweets. So, first tweet. Is ride or die a thing anymore, or does it come with conditions? Well, I don't know. I don't know how I can put this. Ride or die for me has always come with conditions. Like, at least over the past few years, the whole ride or die thing for me has sort of constantly just come with conditions. Because honestly, I've never really found the reason why I need to be in the whole ride or die mode with someone if we're not going to be loyal to each other and if we're not going to help each other, especially on a growth path. Because like there's a lot of people that will be like, oh, he's my ride or die, she's my ride or die, and they'll go into this whole thing where they're like they wouldn't trade them for nobody, but the time comes when y'all need to help each other out, and it's like, because none of y'all haven't helped each other grow, it's like none of y'all can help each other as much. Like, I don't get it. You don't necessarily have to grow financially, but even emotionally, mentally, physically, if y'all go to the gym together, like that's some shit that I usually value. So yes, ride or die has always come with conditions, at least for me: loyalty and growth. Like, it's just that simple. I still find it odd how there's people that can manage to continue this whole ride or die thing, yet there's like not that much substance to your friendship. But anyways, it's like a guy thing. So on to the next tweet. Dear men, if you can't hold her hand in public, then you have no right to hold her curves in private. As someone who likes a little bit of PDA here and there, as someone who doesn't mind being all touchy with my shorty and letting her be all touchy with me in public, unless my parents or some relatives are there and shit, I unfortunately have to disagree with this, because I've been with people who aren't afraid of PDA. They're like totally into it and they're all in on it. Hell, to a point where I even would sort of get a little bit uncomfortable. And coming from a guy who doesn't mind a bit of PDA, I'm guessing that's a lot. And I've also been with people who aren't really into PDA, like people who are very anti-PDA. So saying this sort of puts people at a point where it's like, it's either you like PDA because you're with someone that you have feelings for, or you don't have feelings for them. Like, it doesn't make sense for me. Now, personally, I do believe in a little bit of PDA here and there. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like saying goodbye and, you give a little kiss here and there. There's nothing wrong with that. Holding her curves. There's nothing wrong with that. But you need to understand that not everyone is built that way. There's people that are a little bit more socially anxious. There's people that are very reserved, especially on a public note, because they give a shit what everyone says or thinks about them. Also, the scenario. So it's not like you'll be all PDAing and shit when you're at like an office function. So I find this piece of advice, or at least I find this statement to be very wrong, or at least it's very single-minded and short-sighted, if I could say it that way. I think the people who don't have PDA, it's not like their relationships are any better or any worse than people who do. So honestly, if you're into PDA, do it. If you're not into PDA, do it. If you're with someone who doesn't like PDA and you like PDA, find like a middle point or some shit. Anyways, next tweet. I find calm men so attractive. I love the gentle aura. A man who doesn't yell at me when he's upset, who brings me peace and eases my anxiety. I just want to feel calm and safe with you. Well, truth of the matter is, I think that's like all of us. All of us that like calm and peaceful partners. Mostly because, not all of us are into men. Just saying. Here's the thing. I find the idea of having a dramatic partner to be a little bit impractical, if I can call it that. Because honestly speaking, I think everyone probably wants someone who's caring and affectionate, but most of all peaceful enough that when you're coming home from a long day at work, when you've had a stressful ass day, that person will not give you shit. They will not bring drama into your life. They will not present all sorts of fuckery just because you got home at a certain time, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think we all want someone like that. And I find as though a lot of people usually have this thought that, a calm and peaceful person, regardless of whether they're male or female, depending on your sexuality and the people you prefer and shit, are boring. And the truth of the matter is, I don't think it's that simple. Because, yes, a lot of us have been told, if she's fine and she has all of those qualities that you like in a woman, there's a pretty good chance that she's gonna be dramatic and is gonna have issues. Because there has to be an issue somewhere. If the issue isn't external, it's internal. If it's internal, then it can be all sorts of things. And I can agree to some of them, at least sometimes. But when you look at the idea of settling down and having a long-term relationship, I think calm and peaceful people are the biggest key thing. Because honestly speaking, I never want to come back home to drama. Like, I don't mind a good fight here and there. Hell, personally, I don't think a bit of relationship drama killed anyone, or most people. And as long as no one's gonna stab you afterwards, I think you're pretty safe. But the idea that like you would want someone heavily dramatic is probably only on a short-term basis. Because if you want to marry someone, if you want to be with someone long-term, hell, even though you're not getting married, but you want to be with this person for years, you obviously want someone that is going to treat you right, someone that is going to kind of give you this very relaxed vibe, to sort of make you feel more at home than usual, even though you're not at home. Sometimes even just a simple phone call will make things better. Almost like that Mentos that you take when your mouth is smelling like shit. Like, it just brings in some level of relief. The way I usually think about having a calm and peaceful person in your relationship, it's like going to work with a new Mercedes S-Class. Because even though the road isn't as scenic, even though there's a whole fuck ton of traffic and you're gonna take a bit of a while on the road, like, it's okay. Because if you got one of those, then it probably has massaging seats, so you're gonna be getting massaged for most of that way. You're probably gonna be entertained when you choose to listen to something good because it has pretty good speakers, so that good music can come through for you. Hell, even listen to that podcast, preferably mine, because I don't think I rattle too many cages on most days, so I'm not trying to rile anyone up. And it'll probably feel like a pretty nice and engaging conversation, even though it's mostly me talking at the time. And at the end of it, you get to work having some good fragrances in the car, not smelling all the dirt and filth that came from everyone else. And you will feel comfortable. You will feel better than you even did feel when you left the house. And that's how a calm and peaceful relationship should feel like. Hell, Mercedes-Benz didn't pay me for this shit, but I just had to throw that in there, because I think we all need a little bit of that calm and peace in our relationships, just so that we can perform at our best as much as possible. Because at the end of it, hell, it might seem boring, but I'd rather be boring, healthy, and productive than I'm enjoying the drama, having high blood pressure because of all the stress, and barely keeping it together. Like, that's just my take. I don't know, maybe you like the dramatic type. Although I'm not gonna lie, for a long time, a lot of us guys have talked about how some of the finest babes are some of the most dramatic, and we end up staying with them because they fine and shit. But I'd probably only argue that that's for like the short term. But if we want something long term, then boring's our best bet. Hell, like, don't even take my word for it. Try and see how many people are in the workplace staying a little bit longer, going to the bar, trying to find some way to avoid going home at an earlier time, simply because they have an overly dramatic partner that is making them feel like shit, or just making them dislike the idea of staying home. Like, just go check and then come back and check me on this. Alright? Alright, anyways, next tweet. So I'm gonna play for you guys a short audio clip of an interview that happened, and it was regarding something pretty interesting.
Like, no, first and foremost, like kissing I stopped tongue kissing a long time ago. Fam, how you got kids? Have sex and get out the door. What you be doing? This me like this. You be wildin'. I don't kiss during sex. What? Oh yeah, y'all got the game. Oh yeah, our interview's definitely over. Niggas out here kissing women in the mouth. I ain't kissing none of these hoes in the mouth. Except for Talk Black. I'm perplexed. I only kiss women that I deal with, and I only really deal with one. So why are you fucking her if you don't even want to kiss her? Because it's not a kissing isn't a requirement to say I'm attracted to you. To say I want to have sex with you doesn't mean I have to kiss you. I'm confused. When did having to kiss become mandatory?
So, big question out of all of this. y'all kiss during sex or no? Because actually that's the question that came from the tweet that I'm actually referring to. And I don't know, it's a bit weird to say. Maybe I'm a little bit vanilla, maybe I don't know as much, but I find the idea of having sex and not kissing to be a little bit foreign. Like, I find it a little bit odd. It's like going for a 3-course meal and then skipping out on the appetizer. Like, I just don't get it. Cause, yo, like, fine, I get it. She looked like a snack and all, and you just want to hit it from the back, but I don't get how it is that people would run away from making out. Like, how do y'all get her wet then? Like, do you just go and then on like the whole thing so that he can just slide it in? Do you like go and like suck a nipple or some shit just to get her horny so you can slide it in? Like, I've never really understood it. Cause there's this thing where, you know, we understand sex to be a certain way, and maybe I'm a little bit too narrow-minded for this. Maybe I don't entirely understand it. Cause I've been told this by a friend once, like the whole, you know, no making out during sex if it's not someone that you're dating or you're like really, really intimate with. And I still find it foreign. Personally, for me, I don't mind sleeping with someone and making out with them and still not having feelings. Like, I think I have a bit of emotional control to detach myself from that sort of situation. But people usually talk about how, you know, if we start making out, then it's gonna be too intimate, and I don't want to get that intimate, especially if it's with someone that I'm just banging, I'm not having a thing with, and, you know, making out super intimate, and I don't want that shit. And I'm just sitting back and I'm wondering, how the hell is it that y'all actually stand tall and claim that you've given someone like maximum pleasure? Like, ever since I tried to get to understand the conjugal arts and so on, I've always been told foreplay is key. Always make sure you have amazing foreplay before you go in. Because even though you've got bad dick, even though your dick is small, at least if you can get her off from foreplay, then you'll have at least done something. Like, that should at least consolidate, or at least it should at least console the fact that you might be pretty shit in bed. But I'm seeing this and I'm like, how the hell is it that people do it? Like, is it just like, you know, like a lick and slide, you know, like you like lick your hand and then just go and, you know, just play around with that thing real quick? Or do you just go and like go down on her immediately? Like, do you also get head and give head? Like, I don't get it. Then there's also these people that are like just, you know, banging you like during like missionary or something, and then they're looking at you. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, making out is a pretty good way to not have to look at someone. And I find the idea of staring at each other for anything more than a second and a half while you're banging to be a little too intimate. Hell, feelings have been caught that way. So I find the idea of it to be a little bit foreign to me. I don't understand it. But anyways, from what I saw in the comments, there's people that actually are okay with it. There's shorties that are okay with the whole no making out, just banging straight on. And, you know, it's perfectly acceptable. It's not like we all have 3-course meals every single time. But it's a little bit foreign to me. I don't know. Like, y'all need to tell me about this. Like, hit us up real quick on the IG handle at Breaktime on Westside. On Facebook, it is at Breaktime on Westside as well. And on Twitter, you can hit me up on the Twitter handle at BagakaTheD. Tell us, like, tell me personally, like, how the hell is it that people like bang without no foreplay? Like, I still don't get that shit. Anyways, we're pretty much at the end of the episode. The handles are there, you know, hit me up. I really need to know. Also, if you have any topic ideas, if you have any tweets you want us to look at, they are also to be sent to those handles. I will catch you guys on the next break. Take care.